Let me tell you about a book that completely changed the way I think, feel, and understand life. It's a book I've read more than once, and each time I discover something new in it. This book is my absolute favorite, not just because of the story, but because of the deep emotions it stirs, the wisdom it offers, and the quiet power it holds over my thoughts. The name of the book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Now, I know some of you may have heard of it already. It's a pretty famous book, translated into dozens of languages and loved by millions around the world. But for me, it's not just a bestseller, it's a personal treasure. I first read The Alchemist when I was going through a period of confusion in my life. I had no clear idea about my future, my goals, or even what I truly wanted. That's when I picked up this book, almost by accident. And what I found inside was more than a story. It was a mirror to my inner world. The book follows the journey of a young shepherd named Santiago who lives in Spain. He has a recurring dream about finding treasure near the Egyptian pyramids. One day, he decides to leave everything behind, his sheep, his home, and everything familiar, to follow his dream. Along the way, he meets many people: a king, a merchant, an Englishman, and an alchemist. Each of them teaches him something important. But more than anything, the book is about listening to your heart, following your personal legend, and trusting that the universe will help you if you follow your true path. What I love most about The Alchemist is how simple the writing is, yet how powerful the message becomes. It's not filled with complicated words or ideas. It's very easy to understand, which makes it perfect for English learners too. But beneath the simple words, there are layers of meaning. Every time I reread it, I find a new line that speaks directly to my heart. There's one quote from the book that has stayed with me since the first time I read it. It says, "When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." Isn't that beautiful? It makes you feel like your dreams are not silly, that they matter, and that even when things are hard, you're not alone. Santiago's journey is not easy. He faces fear, failure, love, loss, and doubt. He works in a crystal shop, learns to trade, and even gets robbed. But he never gives up. He keeps listening to the signs around him, and most importantly, he keeps listening to his own heart. The book is full of magical realism, moments that feel both spiritual and deeply human at the same time. You begin to wonder, is this really a story about a boy finding treasure, or is the real treasure the wisdom he gains during the journey? That's the thing about great books. They give you answers without directly giving you answers. They show you instead of telling you, and The Alchemist does that beautifully. It doesn't preach, it invites, it encourages, it whispers gently to your soul. And the best part is, everyone can relate to it. Whether you're young or old, student or worker, lost or confident, there's a part of this story that feels like it was written just for you. For me, it taught me to stop ignoring the voice inside me, the quiet one that tells me what I really want. It reminded me that I don't have to follow the path others expect me to follow, that I have a personal legend too, and if I ignore it, I might live a life that's safe but not fulfilling. Now, let me share with you some specific lessons I learned from the book. Maybe they'll inspire you too. First, the importance of dreams. Santiago's dream leads him to adventure, to growth, and eventually to self-discovery. The book reminds us that dreams are not just fantasies, they are clues to our true purpose. If we keep ignoring our dreams because we're afraid or busy, we might miss the very reason we're here. Second, the value of the journey. We often focus too much on the destination, getting the job, making the money, achieving the goal. But Santiago's journey shows that who you become along the way is just as important as where you end up. The struggles, the lessons, the people, these shape your soul. Third, the language of the world. In the book, characters talk about a universal language that connects everything: people, nature, events. It's a metaphor, of course, but a beautiful one. It made me think about how everything is connected and how sometimes the signs we need are already around us. We just have to learn how to read them. Fourth, faith and fear. The story shows that fear will always try to stop you from moving forward. Santiago feels it many times, but each time he chooses to trust instead of fear. That's not easy, but it's essential. We can't live fully if we always choose fear. Fifth, love. Santiago falls in love during his journey, but unlike many stories, love in The Alchemist isn't the end of the journey, it's part of the journey. And true love doesn't hold you back, it supports your growth. That was such a refreshing perspective. I could go on, but the truth is, The Alchemist is not a book you just read once. It's a book you keep with you, like a friend, like a mentor, and every time life gets confusing again, you can return to its pages and find a little more clarity. Now, let me share something personal. After reading The Alchemist, I made a small but meaningful change in my life. I started writing again. I had always loved writing as a child, but over the years, I stopped. I thought, what's the point? It's not practical. But the book reminded me that what makes your soul come alive is not meant to be practical. It's meant to be pursued. So I started writing blogs, journaling again, and eventually creating podcasts like this one. And I can tell you, it has brought me more joy and connection than anything else. I've also recommended this book to so many friends. Some of them loved it, others didn't connect with it, and that's okay. Every book speaks to people differently. But if you haven't read The Alchemist yet, I really encourage you to give it a try. Read it slowly, let the words sink in, don't rush, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a part of your own journey reflected in Santiago's path. One interesting thing is that The Alchemist isn't a long book, it's actually quite short. But don't let the length fool you. Its power doesn't come from how many pages it has. It comes from the depth of its truth. Sometimes one sentence from the book can stay with you longer than 1,000 pages from another. That's the magic of good writing. And I think that's why it remains my favorite book. Not because it's the most exciting or the most detailed, but because it touches something deep inside me. It makes me reflect, it gives me hope, and it reminds me that we all have a treasure to find. Not gold, but a life that feels true to who we are. If you're someone who loves reading or is trying to build a reading habit, start with books that speak to your heart. Don't worry about reading the classics or the most recommended ones. Read what moves you, what inspires you. That's how reading becomes a joy, not a chore. And if English is not your first language, reading books like The Alchemist can also help you improve naturally. The language is clear, the sentences are not too complex, and the story keeps you engaged. I often tell my students, read to feel, not just to learn. When you feel the emotions in a story, you remember the words better, you understand deeper, and you grow as a person. Let me end today's episode with one last quote from the book, a line that I keep on my wall. Remember that wherever your heart is, there you will find your treasure. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this episode inspired you to read, to dream, and to follow your own path with courage. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share it with someone who loves books or someone who needs a little reminder to believe in their own journey. And, of course, if you've already read The Alchemist, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did it teach you? What part touched your heart the most? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep learning, keep dreaming, and never stop listening to your heart.